What's going on, everybody? I'm Terrence, and this is Bank Shipping. What's going on, everybody? Hope everybody's having a great day as usual. Myself had some wrenches thrown in the way. Had a load that I was supposed to pick up today, but because of the snow, we ended up getting the load canceled because it was going to a job site, and they didn't want it because of the snow and all this other stuff. So my load got canceled. I went and shoveled off my truck, my trailer, and got all the snow off my truck and everything. So I guess it wasn't a wasted day. I was able to go get some other errands ran, fighting with the DMV about getting my my new truck registered. They messed up my title, and now they're telling me I got to make another appointment for the DMV to get the title fixed and all this crazy stuff. And in Virginia, the DMV is so backed up. Appointments are like 3 months back, and I'm just not going to wait 3 months to put my truck on the road. So got to try to find another option or whatever. But speaking of the new truck, we are actually in it right now. I figured I had some time, so something some of you guys have been waiting on and asking questions about. So it's not completely ready, but most part I can show you guys. So this is the inside. Back here might be a little dark. Let me see if I can get a little light on here. So back here, I don't have the truck on, so it's kind of hard to see in the back, but this is a sleeper. It does have a 63-inch sleeper on it. It is a flat top, so not a stand-up, but I'm only 5'8" anyway, so it doesn't really matter. I only have to bend down a little bit to stand straight up. So some people say, oh, you'll get tired of having to bend over when you're putting your pants and everything on, but I'm not worried about it. I like the look of a flat top sleeper a lot better anyway. So it does have a 63-inch sleeper, plenty of room for me. If I do have to stay out, I say all the time, I'm a local guy, I don't really stay out that much, but I wanted a truck with a sleeper just in case I do have to stay out on those occasions, especially having a bigger truck and more weight capacity and things like that. It might cause for me to stay out a little more often than what I normally do, so I wanted to have that ability and not have to find a hotel or something like that. It's already hard enough getting my Hotshot into a hotel when I have to stay, so trying to get something this big into a hotel just probably wouldn't work that well. So that's why I ended up getting a sleeper. Here is, let me see if I can get try to get what I'm looking at here. So here is the front of the truck, the dash where all the work goes down. It does have kind of like a horse behind the sunset, or horse in front of the sunset kind of theme going on here, which I like. It's a true 359, the last year of the 359 actually, but it is not a numbered 359. For guys that don't know what I'm talking about, the last 359s were numbered from Peterbilt. There's actually there's some speculation about how many were made, but there were supposed to be 359 of them made that were numbered. And normally if they're numbered, you'll have like a plaque down here that'll have your number or something like that, and then I think it's one over here on the dash somewhere, but this is not numbered. It's too early in the build year for it to be numbered. But I really like the theme of the horse. Up here, you can see a little bit later when I get out the truck, there's actually a horse emblem on the dash. So kind of cool, kind of old school. No reason for me to change it. This truck is a 13-speed. This handle is, or this shifter is pretty old and cruddy, and actually somebody turned it to the side, so your splitter goes from left to right instead of front to back, which is kind of weird. Took some getting used to driving this thing, but I ended up, see if I actually got it in here somewhere. I ended up getting a new shifter for it. I just haven't put it in yet, you know, so I ended up getting a nice chrome shifter, you know, and then got a white, just a plain white glitter ball to go on top of it. I wanted the one that had the Peterbilt emblem on it, but they were on back order, so didn't feel like waiting. So if I want to at a later time, you know, I can do that. So, you know, plenty of nice shiny gauges, plenty of nice shiny switches. I didn't have to do anything to the interior. It's pretty much brand new. It looks like the original guy, he had a interior kit put in here. So everything's interior wise is good to go. It's actually also got hardwood floors in here. Like I said, I know it's kind of dark, but it's got hardwood floors. They need a little bit of cleaning because I've been in and out of the truck with dirty shoes and things like that, you know, working on it. So we'll go ahead and get out here. Try not to step on my batteries here. I got the battery boxes off because I'm doing some sanding and some polishing on these things because everything needed a polish job. Got the front wheel so far is polished, and this rear tank is polished, but I still have to do the rear wheels and the tank on the other side. So let's see if I can get a full view of this thing. So here's the old girl. Like I said, it is an 87 359. It's got some lights down in the bumper. Not a really big fan of the lights in the bumper, but the guy that I bought it off of, he had put the bumper on there and the visor and the 8-inch stacks. So whatever, it is what it is. I'll run it for like a while, you know, run it like this for a while until I get, you know, start making some money with this thing. And then I just want a nice plain chrome bumper, no lights or nothing on the front, but just like, you know, the single lollipop light on the side right here that sticks off the side, kind of keeping the old school look. I did replace these headlights with LEDs just so I can get a better sight going down the road. And there's that horse that I was talking about on the front. Eventually, you know, I'll change these blinker lights to LEDs. I'll probably do that before I get it on the road to kind of match everything else up. Because the guy, you know, he put LEDs in the bumper. These fender marker lights are LEDs. The breather lights are LEDs. So all the lights on the side, going down the sleeper and the cab, they're all LEDs. You guys can kind of see what I'm talking about with this tank, how it needs polishing. But I kind of want to match everything up. The only things that aren't LEDs are these blinkers right here, so I'll probably change those out. Here's the sleeper. So like I said, you know, it's a flat top, but it's got a nice big 63-inch sleeper. Got some nice stacks on here. I actually think that I need to cut these down a little bit because they are super tall. I haven't really measured them to see exactly how tall they are, but they're pretty tall. I mean, my buddy, his shop, it's got a 14-inch door or 14-foot door, and they're pretty up there. So it's got a flatbed on the rear. The guy previous to me, backstory of the truck, he had the truck on the road. It was a tandem axle. He retired, turned it into a single axle, and used it to haul his camper, so him and his wife could, you know, travel the world. But his wife got sick, so he sold the camper, and then he figured there was no reason to having the truck, so he sold the truck. And then another guy bought it to haul his horse trailer. He had like one of those big old 45-foot horse trailers, like 5 bays, living quarters, all that stuff. Nice trailer. He bought it because his kids did junior rodeo, so he was going to use it to pull that, but coronavirus got in the way, and he, you know, had a payment on it, so there was no reason for him to keep it. So then that's when I swooped in for the kill and ended up getting it, just because this thing was cheaper than buying a new pickup truck. So, you know, to me it was a no-brainer. But the guy that had the camper, he used this flatbed to put his golf cart up on. So in the next week or so, you know, I'm trying to have this thing on the road in the next week or so. Not much left to do to it. but this flatbed is coming off, and also he had like just a little camper fifth wheel on it. That's going to come off and put a actual, you know, regular size semi fifth wheel on there. It'll be a air slider because it's only a single axle truck. So I'd like to be able to distribute my weight any type of way I want, being a single axle. So it'll be an air slider. But there's the rear fenders. Got some nice, you know, shiny chrome rear fenders on there. Nice rear light bracket. And it's actually old school style. There's a nice naked lady up there on the mud flaps. I thought about changing them, but I'm actually going to keep them. Kind of keep that old school flavor going on. So yeah, you know, it's got a nice set of train horns underneath there. You know, nice plain, just 2 lights in the back, nice and clean. I like a nice clean looking truck, not something that's, you know, all, you know, a bunch of holes in the back of the sleeper and things like that. I like a nice old school clean look. Couple minor things that need to be done. You know, there's a couple spots on the paint that actually need to be touched up, but overall the paint job's not that bad for, you know, the truck being an 87. Couple other things, you know, there's some door handles, this being one of them, to the sleeper, that doesn't work from the outside. It works from the inside but not the outside. So that's essentially just taking the door panel off the inside and seeing what happened. You know, it's probably just a bracket or something that came loose or came off, so there's no way to open it. The passenger side door is the same. It opens from the inside but not the outside. But the driver's side door, which is the door that I use the most, works just fine. So the other thing was the lock cylinders had rusted out, so there's no lock cylinders, so I have to get some on order from Peterbilt. It was kind of a tough time tracking those down. But I believe that they had found some for me, so I'm just waiting on those to get those so that I can lock my truck up. This thing, can't remember, my hood's unlatched. So I'm gonna try to do this with the camera in my hand. Oh well, might not be able to do it. Might have to set y'all down for a second. So here's my motor. It's a 3406B model cat, all mechanical. There's not a computer on site on this thing. So another great thing about that is I get to go back to paper logs. I'm jumping for joy for that. No more e-logs, get to run paper now. So super happy about that. The motor was really clean when I bought this truck, but sometimes looks fool you. You know, when I bought this truck, I checked everything out. Everything looked good before, you know, I actually paid the man the money. You know, all the fluids looked good. The truck sounded good. It started right up, all that. But I got it back home and a water temperature light came on and checked the radiator, and there was no coolant. So there was no coolant on the ground, so the only other place for it to go is, that's right, in the motor. So open the oil fill cap and the oil looked like chocolate milk. If you're not familiar with what that is, coolant in the oil, water in the oil. So what had happened was the O-rings to the piston sleeves were bad, and so they were allowing coolant to get into the oil. So instead of just doing not really a botch job, but a half-ass job, and just replacing the O-rings, you know, it would have cost me like 40-50 bucks for the O-rings and then another 500 bucks for a head gasket. I could have done it relatively cheap, but there was really no reason to kind of do a half-ass job. So instead of just doing that, since I had to be in there anyway, we ended up tearing everything out and doing a complete new end frame on this truck. So it sucked because I wasn't prepared for it. You know, I'd spent money on the truck and thought it was going to be ready to go, and it wasn't. So that was an unexpected expense. But you know, that's one of those things that you get when you buy any type of used vehicle, whether it's a semi or a car, motorcycle, whatever. That's a chance you take. But fortunately, you know, I still had some money saved up from buying the truck that I was able to go ahead and get the end frame done. So my buddy, shouts out to my buddy Paul Huff and Jimmy. They actually did the work for me. I couldn't have done it without them, because when it comes to these big mechanical motors, I'm at a loss. So couldn't have done it without them. They did some great work. Got the end frame done. The only thing left to do was when we were getting everything back together, the springs for the Jake brake seemed to be pretty old and flimsy and stuff like that. So I had to order a new, basically a Jake brake rebuild kit. So it is actually here. We just have to put it in. So that's really the only thing that's keeping this, and it's really not keeping the truck from running. I mean, it runs fine. The Jakes work, but they just aren't as strong as they're supposed to be. So that's really the only thing mechanical wise that needs to be done, with the exception of, I forgot, there's a couple of gauges that aren't working. But since it's a mechanical motor, all mechanical truck, no electronics, odds are it's just a wire that's either broken or came off of a connector or whatever. So it's pretty simple. Just trace down a couple wires. You know, it's my speedometer, my tach, and my fuel gauge. Those three aren't working. The speedometer and fuel gauge never worked when I first bought it. The tach did, but I think when we were putting everything back in, we must have knocked the wire loose or something like that. So pretty simple fix. So basically, yeah, the Jake brake rebuild and fixing the gauges is really the only thing that I have to do before the truck goes on the road. And then the last thing, of course, is to finish the polishing, so that, you know, I like a nice clean polished truck. I want to have it polished before it gets on the road. So do that, and then I just have to register this thing. That's what I was actually trying to do at the DMV today, because you know, when I titled this thing, everything was fine. But when I got the title and I went to register the truck, they didn't put a gross combined weight on this thing. So since they didn't put a gross combined weight rating on this thing, it does not allow me to register it on my IRP as a tractor, because there's no gross combined. So I asked them if they could fix it, and they told me I had to schedule an appointment to get that done, even though they weren't doing anything at the time I was there. So, but that's I could go another 45 minutes on the DMV during this whole COVID thing. So that's one of the last things that needs to be done on that. And I will tag it for $72,000. The reason I'll tag it for $72,000 is I got a 20,000 pound rear, 12,000 pound steer, and then if I'm pulling a spread axle trailer, you know, I'll get 20,000 on each axle for the trailer. So that's another 40. So 40 plus 32 is 72. So that's how I'm gonna get a 72,000 pound gross combined. Pretty significant over where I'm at now. You know, my Hotshot is a 37 gross. So going from 37 to 72 is a big jump. Now the trailer, I haven't really talked about the trailer I'm going to pull with, or pull with this. I have actually just got a call the other day about it. I got a 53-foot Diamond C step deck that just came into the dealer. So it's ready to be picked up, but in order to pick it up, I kind of need this thing. So it'll set up there for a week or two until I can get this thing on the road, and then I'll go get it. The reason I got a Diamond C step deck is because I was going to pull it with my pickup. I was going to take the bed off my pickup truck, and I was going to pull the step deck with it. And then I started thinking, you know, I went ahead and got the 40,000 gross combo on the Diamond C trailer. And the reason I got that is because I wanted to be prepared for growth. You know, there was no point in me getting a 25,000 gross trailer if I knew eventually I was going to grow out of my pickup. And it just worked the way I did. You know, I was going to pull it with my pickup truck, and then it just worked out to where I saw this thing come up for sale and I bought it. I thought about going back and, you know, canceling my order for my Diamond C and just getting a regular semi step deck. But then I didn't really see the point, because the things that I got on my Diamond C would have cost me significantly more if I got them, you know, from Mack or Benson or something like that, for the semi. So for a semi step deck. So I just went ahead and kept the Diamond C, but it'll work fine. You know, it's a 40,000 gross trailer. And, you know, for what I use it for, I'm still going to be having my same customers, which is primarily insulation and sheet metal. So 40,000 gross trailer is perfectly fine for what I do. And if it ever comes to the point that I outgrow it, you know, I'll just sell it and I'll buy a regular step deck. You know, a lot of people ask me why I got a single axle truck, and the reason I got a single axle is because I don't need a semi for the weight. I mainly need it, or I mainly got it for the reliability and the comfortability and the things like that, and having a little more weight capacity to get me out of some bad areas. So that's why I got a single axle. And then if at any time that I do need another axle, it's as simple as getting a cutoff from another Peterbilt, cutting the frame here, adding it on, welding it up, bolting it up together, retitling it as a tandem axle tractor, and I'm good to go. So, you know, I'd rather have this, have 4 less tires to buy, 1 less drive line to worry about, if I don't need it right away. And if I do, you know, I'll either turn this into a tandem or I'll go buy another tandem, if, you know, the money's right. So, but I know this is, a lot of guys have been asking, you know, about this, so here it is. So once I get this thing on the road, you know, we'll definitely go for a ride along, you know, getting it on the road for the first time, and of course once I go pick up my trailer, I'll do a more in-depth review of the step deck that I bought from Diamond C. So there it is. You know, I actually turned out to be a pretty productive day, you know, getting some things done. And now I got some other errands to run, but I wanted to stop by here to get a video for you guys, at least so I had something out. I actually, you know, got me a new hat today, made me a new hat. You know, it says "Make Freight Rates Great Again." I don't know if you guys can see it here. Boom. And then I got my good old company logo on the back there, so thought that was pretty cool. You know, if you guys like them, I might start selling them, who knows. But yeah, so that's my truck. Hope you guys like it. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments. And as always, well, actually, before I get off here, I just want to show y'all something. One of my buddy's family trucks. There's the guys. Say hey, guys.
Hey guys.
These are some of the mechanics that helped me out here. So couldn't have done it without them. But yeah, so there it is. As always, stay prayed up, grind hard, stay humble.